Lyndon Arthur is back, ready to stake a claim for a shot at world glory when he takes on Argentina's Walter Gabriel Shechiera. Part of a huge night of action on Saturday, September the 17th. It's live and free on Channel 5.
This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, here with Andy Clarke. I know Harry caught up with you at the back end of next week, obviously about the sad events regarding Savannah Marshall and the fight being postponed. Just off the back of that, we've now got the confirmed date for October the 15th. Just how will it affect those fighters? Obviously, they plan their camps out with nutritionists to make the weight. It's a big blow.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think we all understood why the Board of Control suspended boxing last week. I think they probably thought that every sport would suspend fixtures, particularly when you got wind of the fact that it looked like football would. Generally speaking, people tend to follow that. So it's one of those unfortunate scenarios where in hindsight it doesn't look like a great decision, but you can understand why they did it. For the fighters, it is difficult. And I think when you reset, you always need to give at least a month, at least 4 or 5 weeks, because then they can take a week off or thereabouts and then get back on it, because you can't stay at that peak you can't hold it. It's impossible. You need to dip off and then try and taper back up again. It's tricky. It is really tricky, and they'll be looking to get back over here, the American fighters, a couple of weeks out. I think that's what they all did last time. So it's not an ideal situation, but if they haven't been through it before themselves, then most of the time their trainers will have been. And I think it's going to be great when it happens. The build-up was great last week. The press conference and the workouts were terrific. It had that real big fight feel, and I don't think they'll have any problem at all recapturing it. If anything, it might have been a good thing. Yeah, because I think if they'd had the fights last weekend, they probably would have felt the need, maybe, Boxer and Sky, to just dial things down a bit. But that's not boxing, is it? That's not what you want. So you either kind of do it all guns blazing, or you don't do it at all, I think, with a show like that. So I think the postponement for that particular event wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
Well, all the talk in boxing is surrounding two big heavyweights again for God knows what time in 3 years. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. 258 management put out a post at the start of the week, and Eddie Hearn said, look, they tried to negotiate the terms. They said the offer's there, take it or leave it. 60-40 first fight. If AJ wins, it leaves a 50-50 rematch. December the 3rd at the Principality, not the 17th like 258 and AJ's team wanted. They bowed down to the rules. Anthony Joshua's already got back into the camp. Seen him training, sparring with Richard Briakpur in Loughborough. Look, we've been here so many times before. Is the fight going to happen? I ask you yet again, do we see this fight at the back end of the year?
Yeah, I think we do. I think it's all but done. From people I've been speaking to, I think Frank Warren said 90% there, 10% left, and I believe him, because it's come from nowhere in a way, because we all thought December the 17th was a date that's been spoken about for a really long time in Saudi Arabia, but that's not going to happen now. That Fury-Usyk fight, that's not going to happen. What we heard was that Usyk probably couldn't do it because he picked up a few knocks and aches and pains from the fight, but he's kind of saying different now. But what it's meant is that this fight can happen between Fury and Joshua, and boxing gets a lot of stick at times for not making fights that should happen, but all of a sudden we've got one that we didn't think we would see, and the fact that it's not for undisputed, I'm not sure it really matters that much.
I was about to say, does it even matter?
I don't think it does. I don't think it does for UK fans, because they'll just look at this and just think this is a massive sporting event for the UK. And I think I was reading something the other day whereby December the 3rd is the knockout stages of the World Cup, and England could be playing that day.
If they come second, it would be England playing, rolling straight into Fury AJ. I mean, the numbers would be off the charts.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely unbelievable. So yeah, I do think it'll happen. I thought the dates might be a sticking point. I thought Joshua might say, look, I need those extra 2 weeks. But actually, when you think about it, he's just done 12 rounds. He didn't get beaten up, so his fitness will be good. And for him, it'll just be a case of having had a bit of time off, straight back in the gym like he is now, and just building back up towards that peak again. So it is a quick turnaround by modern kind of heavyweight standards. It's a really rapid turnaround, but I think it suits him and fits him quite well, to be honest with you. And Fury was always going to fight again before the end of the year, and it's fantastic that they're getting this done.
Well, obviously, if they do get it done, a lot of people are going to, go straight for picking Tyson Fury. Obviously, Anthony coming off the 3 losses in the last 5. I think he's lost 3. AJ shown time and time again someone not to be written off.
Yeah, I mean, Fury's going to be will start as a heavy favourite, and with good reason, because you look at what they've done recently, the pair of them, and the logical, rational choice is Tyson. But I think Joshua will fancy Fury more than he did Usyk, because his last few fights, Fury's looked to go out there and seek and destroy. He doesn't want to do seemingly what he used to do, which is box and move and use those skills that he's got to move like a middleweight in a heavyweight's body. He wants to take people out because that's what people want to see, and he wants to give people what they want to see. His last 3 fights have been like that, and I think that's what he'll look to do again against Joshua. I don't think he's going to look to try and box and move and win on points. I think he's going to look to stand toe-to-toe to a degree and knock him out. And I think that gives Joshua a better chance than if he was up against a Fury who was going to get more up on his toes. Having said that, you still have to pick Fury. Whichever angle you look at this from, the only sensible choice pre-fight is to pick Tyson, but you really do never know. You really do never know. I know it's a cliche, but we see strange things happen over the last couple of years. And when they get in there in Cardiff in early December, it'll be a full house. And I've just got a lot of time for Joshua for taking this fight, because he's had 2 defeats.
He didn't have to take this fight by any means.
No, he didn't, and I don't think anyone could have really criticised him too much if he hadn't. To start with, I kind of half thought that Fury was calling him out, thinking he probably had a 10% chance of Joshua taking it, but it was a little
bluff maybe.
Yeah, that it was a win-win for Tyson, because either somehow Joshua did take it or he didn't, and he could then just call him a bottler and a dosser for the rest of his life. I thought that was pretty much what was going on there, but then Joshua has responded. It's great, because like I say, it's not that often you get these bolts from the blue, but they happen sometimes. I can't wait for it.
Well, Andy, thank you very much for your time, mate, and all the best, and see you tomorrow night.
Yeah, see you tomorrow night, commentating for BT Sports tomorrow night, so I'm looking forward to it. Good top of the bill, real live fight, Denzel Bentley and Marcus Morrison. Morrison, very much a live underdog.
Top man, thank you very much for speaking to me at Boxing Social.
This September, bad blood will be settled.
This is more than personal.
The long-awaited trilogy.
There's real bad blood here.
Canelo versus Triple G. September 17th, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Visit DAZN.com.